Hey, Jeff Skinner here. I'm glad to be here on NHL. Okay, I got it. Hi, this is Jeff Skinner, and I'm glad to. I have to cut that one. Hey, it's Jeff Skinner, and I'm glad to be here on NHLPA presents Gerry Dee, Sports Reporter.
Jeff, no, you still look like a child to me. You look like it's amazing how young you look. If I saw you walking on the street, I'm like, that guy's a star in the NHL. People would say, he's 11.
Still needs his parents to look after him. Yeah.
Tell us about, did you guys arrive in Kitchener at the same time, the same year, or was it 1 year difference? How did you two connect the first time? Do you remember? Jeff?
Was Ivan Holinka, was it before that?
Yeah, it was right before I moved over.
Yeah, I remember that game because obviously Gabe was one of Sweden's top players, and yeah, I think we might have I think I might have got a penalty on you or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember we got in a scrum, and I was like, "This is gonna be my teammate." But
yeah. I shot the puck. I think a little bit late after the whistle, and you came.
That's what fighters do, Jeff. That's what fighters do. You guys are when you guys are younger, it gets the same for any of you guys in the NHL. I know for you, Jeff, every game was, my brother would tell me stories. Let's to whack and hack and spear you and Gabe, would that have been the same for you? And I'll let you go first. And then how do you get through that as an 11-year-old, 10-year-old? That's got to be tough for the players when you are usually the best at a younger age.
I don't think I was ever really the best player on my team. We had a pretty good minor hockey team, so I was never really the star or anything like that. I just, I hit puberty fairly early, and I was able to be sort of at the forefront of being a little bit stronger than other kids, I guess. But yeah, I'd say I was probably more the one stirring the pot. I was a player to hack and whack at other people, other kids.
For us as fans of the game, and you think of your first goal, what's going through your mind when it goes in and when you get to the bench and when you go home that night? Gabe?
This was the...
And I hope none of them were empty netters, because then we just move on.
No, I don't think the coaches at that point ever put me out in the position where I was out there late in the game. Mine was in Columbus. It was a third game of the season on the road. We were down by 1 goal with about, I think, 2 minutes left of the game, and the puck went low to high, and I just sort of cruised through the hash marks in front of the net. And honestly, I was just trying to screen the goalie, so I jumped kind of laterally. It ends up changing directions off my skate, and I will stick by that. You can't really tell by the video, but it touched my skate. I know it. And I got the puck, and I saved the skate. So I still have most guys save the puck and the stick maybe that you scored your first goal with, but I saved the skate. That's one you'll always remember. I mean, it was a very ugly goal, but in my mind, I don't care.
Jeff?
Yeah, mine was I think it was my 6th or 7th game. It was in the Staples Center in LA. I had come in sort of. I was a bit of a goal scorer in junior, so I'd sort of been waiting for it every game, hoping that I could get a goal. I didn't score in preseason, so it had been probably like 10 or 11 games since I'd scored, and I can remember, the puck went up to the point. I think Anton Babchuk took a slapper. It was about head high, so I was lucky to get out of the way, and it came off the goalie's chest and sort of landed right in front of him just as I was passing through, and I just kind of whacked it through his legs. It went 5-hole, and I think Jonathan Bernier was a goalie. It's weird. You remember sort of all the little details just because of how exciting it was. But yeah, after I was just really pumped. I skated probably full speed to the bench, and then all the adrenaline was kicking in, and it was a pretty good memory.
Now, do you remember, Jeff, your first goal ever as a kid? Like I do. I remember mine. I was playing house league hockey. I got my first goal and I raised my stick. And then I got my first penalty because you weren't allowed at that time to raise your stick above your head.
Really?
Swear to God. So I'm in the penalty box by myself. Like no one to talk to. But I remember that playing for Blessed Trinity. We had the mouth guard, no visor, just the mouth guard right here. And I couldn't skate. I got one goal the whole year, and that was it. And I got a penalty for it. But do you remember your first goals, guys, as kids, Jeff?
I don't. Honestly, my first hockey memory is actually playing goalie. We like used to rotate playing goalie in the house league, and it's actually not a good memory because I would get so bored when the puck was on the other end, and I would skate around the net and I don't know, I had this like big Jofa helmet on, the big bubble one, and I ended up getting my helmet, I don't know how, stuck in the net. So I was like stuck in the net with my helmet. I was 3 or 4 years old. And they have like coaches on the ice in their skates, right? So the coach had to come over and sort of like, I think I was crying pretty bad.
They're like, what an idiot this Skinner kid is.
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm not a goalie, really. I got some bad players in net there.
And Gabe, in minor hockey in Sweden, is the NHL as much a goal as it is for Canadians there? Is it just very similar?
Yeah, I think, well, especially now it is. I think with social media and with YouTube and all these and now they're showing a lot of games on TV there. So now I'm sure all kids, I mean, and even for me, once I think that dream started when I was about maybe 11 or 12. Before that, I was just playing because I loved the game. I thought it was so much fun. And before that, my grandmother used to record the NHL games that she could because we didn't have the channels that it was on, and it was only on like Saturday mornings at 2 in the morning or whatever. And so she'd record them, and I'd get these VHS tapes, and that's kind of where the love for the NHL and that dream was sparked. So, but now I most definitely say that the kids in Sweden want to get to the NHL because there's so much coverage and social media and stuff.
In Canada, there's a lot of former players. Who do you think, or for Gabe Landeskog, who was the first Swede in your mind that kind of started the process over here? And I grew up, Boris Salming was my age, my guy I looked up to. And then, is that too far back for you, or was it a Sundin type of Forsberg?
Yeah, you're just a few years too old for me, and so is Borja. But I would say for me, it was definitely the generation of Peter Forsberg, Matt Sundin, Alfredson, Nicholas Lidstrom. And then once I got up in like early teenage years and around those Detroit Red Wings Stanley Cup runs, it was, Henrik Zetterberg and those type of players, and Nicholas Backstrom. So, those are my guys.
Who was your guy? Who was your favorite player?
I was a big Leafs fan, so Matt Sundin was high up there too for me. And then I guess when I was probably 12 or 13 was when Crosby came to the league, and I was a pretty big fan of his.
Gabe, what was your first wow moment when you got in the league?
Coming out of junior, Mike Richards was one of my favorite players in the NHL, just because I was sort of trying to play like him, and he used to play for the Rangers and Kitchener. And so I remember one preseason game, my rookie year, we were playing LA. I believe he'd just gotten traded to LA, and I was lined up with him against in a face-off, and I was just like, my focus was not on the hockey game. I was like, I'm going to tell Mike Richards that I'm a big fan of his. So I lined up right next to him, and I'm like, hey, Mike, like, big fan, man. And he was like, he just kind of looks at me, and he's like, thanks. So my focus in that preseason game wasn't as dialed up as it should have been.
Are there guys that have said this to you then? Now you are in your 9th, 10th year. Has that conversation happened for either of you with anybody that, 18, 19-year-old coming in the league that you knew or was kind of, you could see? I guess it's kind of awkward to talk about it because you're probably not even noticing it.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone came up to me in a face-off and said they're a big fan, but I'm still waiting for it. Maybe it'll happen. You never know.
They're looking at you going, I think he's a rookie too. He looks so. What kind of golfer are you, Gabe? Good, medium, bad, middle?
Relatively speaking, Pretty decent. I mean, I'm like mid to low 80s probably consistently.
Yep.
I'm pretty bad. I'm sort of trying to get it in double digits. It sometimes sneaks into the triple digits, but yeah, I haven't played much. I want to get out and play a little bit more, but yeah, I'm a little bit rusty. Like I still have Nike clubs, so they haven't made those.
Wow.
Yeah, hang on to those. Hang on to those. Those will be worth something. Wow.
Yeah, they're antiques. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, all the best to your families, yourself. Stay safe, and we can't wait to see you back on the ice. Thanks a lot for doing this, guys.
Hey, this is Jeff Skinner here, and I'm glad to be a part of NHL Presents